Hey everybody, Thanksgiving's coming up, so I thought I'd throw up a quick video about smoking a turkey in my Old Smokey Electric smoker. Um, I have a frozen butterball turkey here that has been thawing out in my refrigerator for about the past 4 or 5 days. This one I picked up from Walmart. It was about the cheapest I could find. It was $1.13 a pound for this particular style. And the smaller turkeys I'm finding at the store are priced higher than the really huge ones, and that's a problem because the Old Smokey, you've got a size limitation. The diameter of your Old Smokey Electric is only 15 inches, and I don't want my turkey touching the sides of the smoker. I don't think it'll cook very well, plus I don't want to get the creosote from the smoke that rub off on the turkey itself. But this one's a practice turkey, so it's relatively small. You can get a bigger bird than 12¼ pounds. I think the last time I did one, it was closer to 16 or so. You can experiment and measure it and figure out how big of a turkey you can get in there, but this one's just a practice. Last time I did a turkey in the Old Smokey Electric, it was about 6 years ago, and it didn't come out very well. As you can see in the pictures here, I'm going to put in the video. I went to a lot of trouble. I brined it following the Alton Brown Good Eats recipe, and you have to start working on it several days in advance because you got to cook the brine, and then you got to let it cool overnight, and then you got to brine it overnight, and all kinds of stuff in the cavity and seasonings, and I took real careful control of the temperature, and at the end of the day it looked like this. And it's just not a pretty bird. And even the website from Old Smokey, where they show you the recipe of their turkey, they tell you this is normal. The skin pulls back and it's not a presentation bird. In the Old Smokey Electric, you're not going to get that real mahogany, looking pretty color of a smoked turkey that you see online and that you can get in kind of an offset stick burning, smoker, or maybe even a pellet smoker or something like that. But it still tasted okay. The breasts were not as juicy as I would have preferred them, so this time I'm going to do something a little different. This is a little experiment I'm going to try. I'm not going to do a liquid brine. I am going to do a dry brine, which is essentially just a salt and a little bit of baking powder on the outside of the bird in the refrigerator overnight. And I'm going to put a link to an article in the comments here, or in the description. A guy named Kenji Lopez has a nice article about dry brining versus liquid brining and why dry brining is preferable, and I'll let you read that about it. But I was convinced, and I want to try something different. And the other reason is that because moisture is such an issue in the Old Smokey Electric, I figured dry brining might be ideal. However, I am going to inject the breasts and maybe the drumsticks a little bit with a real simple injection brine. I'm going to mix up a little bit of this turkey stock. I found this at the store. It's just turkey bouillon. If you can't find turkey bouillon, chicken will work just as well, I'm sure. I found this one at Whole Foods, which is a place I don't normally shop at, but what the hell, sometimes you got to shop at Whole Foods. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of this and melt some butter in the microwave, and and just do an injection in the breast and the legs. Then I'm going to do the dry brine with the kosher salt and baking powder. I'm going to put it cover it loosely with plastic wrap and stick it in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow I will put it in my Old Smokey Electric. So right now I'm going to get this unpackaged and rinsed off and get all the giblets and neck and all that stuff out of the cavity, and then I'll show you the injection. So be right back. Okay, we've got the turkey out of the package that came in, and we've got it rinsed off under some cold water and patted it dry with paper towels, and we're all set to do the injection and put the dry brine on before we stick it in the fridge. I went ahead and mixed up our brine. I went ahead and just used a whole stick of butter and melted it, and then using that turkey base Than Bouillon I told you about, I mixed up about a cup of water and about a teaspoon of that stuff, and warmed up in the microwave. Now, in the interest of food safety, you're going to want to chill this down as much as possible before injecting it, and that's what I did. I put an ice cube in here, and then I also have had it in the fridge for a while. In retrospect, I probably should have used less butter because, you know, obviously you can't chill it down completely because the butter coagulates and then you can't really inject it. So I had considered doctoring this up a little bit with some spices, maybe a little, you know, chili powder or cayenne pepper or hot sauce or, I don't know, garlic. I thought about that, but now that I taste it, let me tell you, you don't need it. This tastes divine. It's really good. And I think this is going to make a fantastic turkey. So I didn't put anything else in here. This is just butter and some of that turkey base that I mixed up. I think I made it a little stronger than what the directions on the bottle call for. But it was just when I tasted it, it tasted a little bland and I wanted stronger. So on to the injection. Okay, so now we're going to apply the dry brine to the turkey. The recipe I used was 3 tablespoons of kosher salt to 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I made half of what Kenji Lopez wrote in his article because I thought it would be too much, and I ended up using all of what I made. So if you're going to cook a larger turkey, you might consider making the full amount. The idea is just to liberally cover all the sides of the bird as evenly as possible, as well as the inside, making sure to get all around the legs and wings. I didn't worry too much about getting the mixture on too thick, as you can see, and the turkey still turned out great. Sorry I slid out of the camera frame here and lost track of my position while trying to do this. Would have been easier with 2 people. So now I'm going to throw it into the refrigerator overnight, and I left it uncovered. I ended up not covering it in plastic wrap like I said I was going to earlier so that the skin would get as dry as possible. Kenji says you can leave it in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. Okay, it's the next day and we're ready to put the turkey on the Old Smokey Electric. It's been dry brining in the refrigerator overnight, and I went ahead and removed the wishbone before cooking out of the neck cavity here. Since this is an experiment, I sprayed half of the bird with canola oil. I left the other side dry, so we'll see, you know, this side no oil, this side with oil. We'll see how it works. So we're ready to throw it out in the smoker and we'll meet you outside. Okay, these are the chips we're going to use today. I'm going to smoke the turkey with a little bit of hickory chips. As usual, I do not soak my wood chips. This is a little pile I got there, and I got a little pile in the corner and then some scattered around. No water in the drip pan. Got it on high initially. I'm going to watch the temperature and see how it goes. I think that I'll try and cook it around 300 today. Temperature outside is about 50 degrees, so I'm going to have to kind of adjust things, but I'm thinking about after 30 or 45 minutes that I will drop the temperature dial down here to somewhere between medium and high and play around with it. But got my temperature probe out here. Currently inside the bird is 45 degrees. So see you in a few hours and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, we're all done. I got the turkey inside, and you ready for the big reveal? Success! Came out great. Or at least it looks good. Ended up cooking it for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and I had to keep testing the temperature with my handheld temperature probe because the one that I had stuck in, you know, it got to 165, you know, really fast, and I knew it wasn't done. So depending on where I poked in the thermometer, you know, I got different readings. So I just kind of kept testing it every half hour or so, and finally it came out like this. So skin looks good, nice color. I'm very pleased and very surprised, actually, and I think the difference between the way I did it the first time and what we see now is due to the dry brining versus the wet brining. So the skin is, you know, a little rubbery, and just to further my experiment here, I am going to stick it in the hot oven here at about 475 for a few minutes, just to see if I can't crisp it up just a little bit. But even if I don't do that, I still think this would be good. And you know, I'm not going to cut the breast before I put it in the oven really quick. But yeah, I'm well pleased with how that turned out. So hang on, and I'll stick it in the oven really fast, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back and taking it out of the oven. I had it in the oven for about 5-6 minutes at 475. Actually even turned on the broiler for a couple of minutes, and I'm not sure if that was worth it. Did brown up the skin just a little bit more, but I've let it rest for about 30 minutes, and I'm ready to carve it now. So before I do that, I wanted to show you, remember we sprayed one side with oil and left one side dry. This was the side with the oil, and you can see the skin starting to pull away, and that really became more prevalent when I put it in the oven. So you can see down here on the leg or on the thigh above the wing a little bit, it started to pull away. So I'm glad I tried that, because it tells me a good lesson that it's the oil, particularly within the Old Smokey, oil on the skin causes the skin to pull apart for whatever reason. So I will, from this time on, I will always do dry, because not only did it get browner, but it stayed intact. And I think, you know, a lot of people like to eat the skin, but it's still, you know, it's a little bit crisp because I put it in the oven here. And, you know, I think maybe a better solution next time might be to, after I take it out of the smoker and let it rest, to take the skin off and just put it on a cookie sheet and crisp it up just on its own without warming up the turkey itself. But I'm very pleased with how this looks and how it you know, held together. I think the dry brine was key to the success. So let's go ahead and take the breast off and see if I can do this on camera in one shot, and see what the moisture level looks like inside. I'm going to take the whole breast off. This is another reason you practice. Should have watched a video on how to carve a turkey before doing this. So far, though, I think it's gonna come out all right. All right. Move this around a little bit here so I can get a better position to cut. Now, moment of truth. Is there any juice in the breast? That's looking pretty good. That's looking really good. I cooked the turkey until the dark meat was getting around 175. I might have even overcooked it a little bit, but even so, that's looking okay. You can see it's glistening there a little bit. Let me taste a little piece here and see how it did. Oh, fantastic. Wow! Very happy with that. Very, very happy with that. Very moist. It's almost the consistency of what you would get like a deli turkey or something like that. You know, real moist. Oh, wow. Absolute success. Very happy. So, to recap what we did, sorry, I'm chewing in your ear here. We let the turkey thaw out in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 days. And then we did an injection with the turkey bouillon and melted butter. And then one of the notes I made is to use less melted butter next time so that it didn't coagulate so much. And we injected it in the breast and a little bit in the legs. And then we did a dry brine with kosher salt and baking powder overnight. And according to Kenji Lopez on his article, you can do that for up to 3 days. And I think next time I do this, I might do it for at least 2 days just to see how it turns out. And then I did it in the Old Smokey. I did it on high. I left it on high pretty much the whole time. I did turn it down a little bit, but once I started to see that it was taking a little bit longer, I went and put it back up at high. Now, your mileage may vary on that particular setting. It was 50 degrees today here where I'm at, and that might have made it, so that I had to keep it on high. If it's warmer where you're at when you do a turkey, you might want to turn it down a little bit. I never quite got to 300. I think the warmest according to my thermometer, the warmest it got inside the Old Smokey was about a 275. So, and it took, for this 12¼ pound turkey, it took about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So, but all in all, I think it was a success. Very happy with how that turned out, and definitely learned some new things this time. And anyway, I wish you guys a happy holiday, and if you're going to do a turkey for Thanksgiving on your Old Smokey, good luck. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments, and I'll answer them as fast as I can. And I'll put the link to Kenji's article and also to the website with where you can buy the syringes if you're into that. And anyway, happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and I'll see you next time.